Okay, you can see we've got the aircon in the background, but we're just leaving that on today. So I've got to run the boring bar backwards, and I'm only feeding by hand, so I'm just trying to go slow to get a reasonable finish. Now, the size that I'm trying for, well, I'm not trying for any size really, I just want something that'll give me a reasonably thick bush so we can bring it back to standard. So at the moment that's 47.12 millimetres. I'll take it, I've just moved it in 20 thou I think, so it should be 10 off each side if I've done my adding up correctly. So yeah, I'll just crank him up and we'll see how it goes. You've got a bit of light there, I think you can see. If I come in a bit further, that might be a help. Alright, let's crank her up in reverse and see how we go. We're sitting on L medium, which L medium is around 170 RPM. And look, that seems to be going okay. When I had it at 95 it was just too slow, so we'll just see how it goes. Okay, it's a little rough there. I'm getting a bit of flex. It's just a little machine here. That's as high as the Z will go up, and I've got it all clamped off here. And I had to use a small boring head because, yeah, me big one here, Big Bertha there just wouldn't fit in. So Anyway, we're just going to plug away with it, and I'll just see what we're at roughly. Yeah, so that was about 1/2 mil we took out of it, I think. And I want probably 3 or 4 mil off here, so when I make a spacer to fit inside the bush here, I'm right to go. So this bush isn't pressed in yet, but it is, where's the joint? The joint is held tight, so if I pop that on, and yeah, so I'm 47.85. Yeah, 47.85 ID. I'll try it in another spot. Yeah, 47.88, because that's not pressed into anything yet. So 47.88, and over here with 46.75. So about 2 mil. I'd like probably 3 or 4 mil sleeve on here. Now, being my tractor, it'll get greased, and it'll probably hardly do a day's work in its life from now on. But I'll just keep going with this and work it out. You hear it start a bit rough at the top, and that's where the start of the weld is, where people welded it before, the undercut, and I'll have to chop through some of that. So yeah, 46.6. So I'll keep chogging away with this, and yeah, when I get closer I'll come back and show you what I've done. Well, there you go. That's just over 42, or just pretty close to 42 mil. So with the bush that goes over the top here being 47.7 mil, I'm going to eventually make the bush for the outside here 45 mil OD, and I'll make it a light press fit onto here. So that'll give us 0.2 of a millimetre. I'll try and keep my hand still. That'll give us 0.2 of a millimetre clearance on the bush. That's as the bush sits now at 47.7. So if I come down at 47.5, that'll be 0.2 of a mil. 0.1 of a mil is 4 thou. So double that's like 8 thou. When we press the bush in, that'll bring it back to 4 or 5 thou. So look, I think that'd be good. Those bushes weren't, they weren't like a gudgeon bush when you put them in originally. But look, that's not a bad finish. I'm fairly happy with that. I'm going to leave it at that, and yeah, we'll see. Well, I suppose the next thing will be make the bush up. Right, so I've started boring the housing here to take the bush, and we're looking for 2-inch ID and 2.2 OD, so we're not going to have an awful lot there at the end. The speed, I'm running on H3, which is 900 RPM. I've got a nice little 16mm carbide boring bar in there, and the feed across would be, what am I on here? D4, so we've got D4, the feed rate's 40 thou, so 40 thou per revolution. So that leaves a pretty good finish. I'm not looking for a shiny finish, I'm looking for something that'll I'll be able to Loctite a bush into. So I'll just do a couple of runs here, mainly just to show you what I'm up to. close to size now, so I'm just having a quick look at how we're sitting here. I'm just measuring this up on the verniers, so 1.889. Yeah, 1.889, and my DRS is 1.891. So I'm going to start going small now. 1.889. I'll try a nice light cut on 1.9 exactly, and that'll give us an idea how we're travelling. That's exactly 1.9. And all I'm doing here is just checking that the DRO is reading accurate, and once I know it's accurate and I can go with it, well, I can follow it all the way. So we're looking for 1.9, what have we got? 1.898, so we're 2 thou undersized. I'm certainly happy with that. I can work with a 2 thou undersize. So we'll sneak up on the 2 inch here. This is the bush. This is a bush, and hopefully that's a press fit in there. And then we've got to take the outside here to 220 thou, and that will be the bush that sits in the boss, the main front bolster. So look, for the start here, I might do a couple of cuts of 25 thou, and on the last one we'll just see how we're going. That last cut should be 1.975, so if we're out a little bit we can adjust it from here. We're a couple of thou small. Just run the measurement again. Here we're sitting on 1.968. So with a couple of thou under. Okay, so now we're a couple of thou under. I'm going to run it at the 2-inch mark, and I'm expecting to be a couple of thou under, and I may do a little tidy up if I need to. So I'll take it right exactly to 2-inch. That's exactly 2. There's a little spiral there from pulling the tool out. I'm happy with that because I do Loctite the bushes in it. That gives it something to go on. So I'll just try this again. We're about 5 thou under. Yep. I'm just going to run it through there. See the swath is just way smaller, so we're obviously getting some tool flex, but that's to be expected. Little Chinese lathe. I'll just check how we're travelling. I backed that off just a little bit, and I bashed the camera. Okay, 1.995, and that's matching the DRO. So I'll do this other 5 there and be reasonably confident that we're going to be pretty damn close. Right, we'll have a measure. That's a nice finish. $1.999. That's real close. I think we'll keep that. Okay. This bush. Oh yeah, you can feel that's going to go in. It's trying to start there now. And the reason I'm going around it this way is that once we press this bush into this bush that we're making to take up the wear, well then I can measure inside there, and then the sleeve for the 65 front axle pivot, I'll have an exact size of that so I can give myself a little bit of clearance. So, but look, that will press in there, no worries. Okay, we need this to be 2.200, 2.2 inches. We're sitting at 2.360 now. So I've got the feed on the same setting, so we'll just let it rip for a couple and we'll get close. We'll have a look when we get closer. So hopefully that comes in at 2.3 inches. $2.2995. We're half a thou under. That's just lovely. Okay. So if we're still on track, we should be at 2.5, 2.4, where are we? Yeah, we're a little under. So anyway, I'll do another 25 and then the last cut will be a catch up. This one here will be the one that tells us what we need to do. $2.225. We're about 5 thou under. So I'll just dial in . I'll dial in 5 thou over and we'll just let her rip, eh? I'm eighth there over. So I can dial that 5 back in. I'll just do a spring pass first. It's the value of a spring pass sometimes, I think. So if I bring him down, it's telling me I'm 2 thou under. I don't think I am. I'll try my other. That's going to pop in there, no worries. I've got my bloody Imperial stuff up the back. Got to make sure I'm not in a little mark. It's only a thou under. You can see that in there. I think you can. You can back up. So anyway, look, I'm happy with that. So now we have to measure the length, and I'm pretty sure it's 30 millimeters. So I'll drop the parting off tool in here. I'll get rid of that just for the moment. And we'll work out where our edge is. That's lovely, we'll call that 0 on the DRO. We'll go up inch and an eighth, 1.125. There we are, about there. Wobbler. Okay, we'll deburr that. couple little chatters there from me letting it run amok there for a bit. And the next job will be to press this bush in. Now we've got a grease hole here, so I do have to line that up with something in the housing outside. Anyway, we'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so I've got the bush pressed into the bush sleeve and the axle's on this side. So what our next thing is line up the hole in the bush with the grease nipple here and come in this way. Now we'll have to bump that in. It's slightly, that hole is slightly out of round. As in one of my earlier videos, it's gone out of whack a little bit. So what I'm going to do is clean this up, get the bush ready to put in, and I'm going to use a little bit of DevCon or JB Weld or something just to put in here, and that's going to support the back of the bush because all of the weight is up there. But by supporting the back of the bush and putting a bit of liquid metal or something back in there, there's not much. You can see, I don't know if you can see the gap, but there is a slight gap in there. I think you can see it there. Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll be fine for what we're doing. And the axle sits here, so we're going to have it right up at this edge. So we're on the piece of pin closest to the axle pivot, so we can support it right up there. And yeah, we're still to put the bush in this front section yet, but once we get this pressed in, well, actually it should be okay now. I should be able to measure the inner here. Now we've got it in there, and that'll give us the ID or the OD for the next piece of bush that sits on the axle shaft. So when we go, we'll come back in. Yeah, when we go, when this goes into the housing, I've got to make a bush up that thick, to give us a nice wear surface on this steel backed brass bush. So yeah, look, it's coming together. I think it'll be okay. The other end we're not worrying about too much. It's pretty good, and we got new bushes and things for that. So yeah, let's see how we go, right?